to be playing a visual novel called Seduce Me 2, The Demon War. And it is a demo, but it's a sequel to Seduce Me, which is free, and it's available on Steam. It's an otome. Yeah, I'm trying to pronounce it correctly, but it sounds stupid.
Sounds so weedy.
Yeah. Basically, Seduce Me 2 follows the story of Mika Anderson, who is the character who was the narrator from Seduce Me, the previous one, the first one. And she's suddenly thrown into the Abyssal Plains, which is the demon world, right as she is about to be married to one of the 5 incubi brothers featured in the first game. And it's also during a rebellion against the evil demon lord, and she must assist Diana and the rebel leaders. So Diana is a succubus, and she was actually one of the romance roots in the first Seduce Me.
Yeah, pick up the pace. We appreciate this, and it's free and everything, but Diana was that was my girl. That's who I was romancing.
She's the number one. So that's why there is no Diana root currently, but there might be because there's a heart next to her name when there's the character list. And I'm hoping that they'll do a Diana root. If the creators, Michaela Laws, if you're watching this, please do a Diana root. She's my favorite character.
Super hot, everything. Yeah.
She's super hot. She's awesome. Okay, and the Incubi brothers do not match up to her awesomeness. So we're going to have to settle this time during this demo. But hopefully soon enough there will be a Diana root because she is amazing and super hot, and that's she's super hot. That's all that matters. So I think we're going to be romancing James, who is a nerd, I guess. He has glasses, but he's a hot voice, and that's what we're gonna romance him. And he's the yellow heart.
Yeah.
So I think we're just gonna start it.
Okay. This again.
I wish to set a stone destiny.
This is very weird, though. What language is this?
Yeah. Is it supposed to be Latin, I guess?
Because the fate of the Abyssal Plains is in the hands of the wrong man. I must set things right.
Is this Diana, do you think?
That's what I was thinking, because it's she's an succubus, so... Yeah. And I clicked a little piece of the tutorial, and whenever she talks, there's a little bit of demon-y sounds in the background, echoing. Yeah.
I come bearing my life force as the price. Take as much as you desire, as long as my request is fulfilled.
Sounds like a good bargain.
Then, that is the price, as long as you set the stone destiny.
When Diana's route comes out, I'd be totally down to play it again.
I agree.
Yeah. We're not gonna be Micah or Mika.
We're gonna be Sybil.
Yeah.
That's the name we've chosen for every single playthrough.
Okay, because we were Sybil is from Downton Abbey, and she's this.
Babe.
Yeah, she was so sweet and everything, and spoilers.
She dies.
Yeah, and it's really tragic because they kill off all the all the characters of merit die, and we still have Ethel.
I think it's
Edith.
annoying.
Edith.
Yeah, Edith. Ugh.
Right? Why is she necessary?
And from what I understand, there was a lot of backlash when they killed Sybil and Matthew. Spoiler. Sorry, but if you have watched Downton Abbey, you know what I'm talking about. It was such a shitty plot decision.
Yeah, and it's you're right, because we were talking about this before, but it doesn't help the story to kill off Matthew because Mary has to go all the way back to the beginning and find suitors, and she's there's no progress. It goes back to the same plot all over again.
Yeah. And Matthew was such a good guy, and the guy she ends up with, not nearly as awesome.
Oh, okay, so is it... No, I'm not gonna guess until, I don't think I've seen him yet, but I don't... No. It's the two guys who are fighting for her.
Yeah, it's not one of them.
Okay, good, because they're like, ugh. I don't know. I don't appreciate them, but
Okay.
yeah.
So do you want to narrate, or?
Yeah, okay. I'd almost forgotten it. I clung to it by a single thread, knowing that if I let go, I'd be lost in the dark void, never to return. Why? Why was I so worried about my name? Well, it was the only claim I had to reality, especially when I was behind bars. This is not Sybil. For for some reason, I was in a cell. I didn't know why. I didn't know how I got here, but all I knew was that I was in it, and that I was chained to a wall by shackles on my ankles. I didn't want to accept the bars as real. I didn't want to be in a cell. I didn't want to smell the dank stench of blood and sweat emanating from all around me. But I had no choice in the matter. No matter how many times I examined my surroundings, they remained the same. I was in a cell in a dimly lit stone dungeon. The walls were unfriendly, and the shackles around my ankles provided no comfort. The rags I was forced to wear barely fit, and I felt filthy. Got it, sucked. Why was I here? I didn't have the answer. All I knew was that I was trapped. I could hear quiet sobbing and muffled screaming from further down the passageway I was in. They reverberated from down the hall, and I knew that they must have come in from fellow prisoners or the condemned. I, however, had only one neighbor. In the cell beside me sat a figure wrapped in a dark purple cloak. The top of the figure's head was shrouded by both the shadows in their cell and the hood that covered their face. They never spoke, and they never moved. Were they dead? I watched them closely for some time, but I never saw their body inhale, exhale, or show any other signs of life. I didn't wish to think on it further, so I turned my head away. What was happening? I opened my mouth to shout, hoping that maybe someone would hear me and give me some sort of clue as to what was going on. I tried to command my voice to speak. However, the sound of a large door opening echoed through the dungeon. I turned my head towards the direction of the sound and watched as the hall slowly began to brighten, like there was a torch moving on towards my cell. I stared wide-eyed at what was approaching. Moving toward my cell was a man I recognized, one that had been close to my heart and now had a look of cold disdain in his eyes. My chest pounded as his name reverberated in my head. James. I don't remember what happened in the end.
He proposed to us, and something.
I didn't even get proposed. Like, we were playing different. Like, we talked about playing, and we both picked James, but we didn't, like, play together. I didn't even know that he could propose to you until, like, very recently. So
I guess he just didn't get the best ending, because you don't know how to romance him.
Yeah, well, you know how we said, like, bad endings are always better? Well, yeah. You know, I let us kind of...
neutral endings suck. You probably got that one.
I let us sort of, you know, think about our relationship a little more instead of jumping right in. Okay, so do you remember why, or do we not know why they landed in, like, a cell?
Well, what it says is just, she just suddenly thrown into the abyssal plains.
Okay.
I have no idea.
So, James. Okay. He was still in his human form, but his voice vibrated with demonic echoes and waves, sending shivers down my spine. His tone was cold and unfeeling, as if I was not someone he loved, but someone he despised with every ounce of his being.
You still live. I'm surprised.
Ooh!
Yeah, that's why I picked him.
That's why.
That's on point. It's nice, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. See, Diana needs to get voiced like ASAP. Suddenly, from the cell beside me, the cowled figure jumped up and slammed into the bars, gripping them as they snarled at James. I stared, now able to see who had been hidden by the cloaks.
Filth! How can you dare show your face again?
That's Diana.
Yeah.
She's hot as ever.
Diana? James seemed unfazed as he stepped towards Diana's cage and leaned in, almost nose to nose with her.
And you live too. How resilient you both are.
We're not so weak as to break under your chains, traitor. After all, unlike you, I carry pure Lilith blood in my veins. In that human, the one you love, is more powerful than your pathetic mind can fathom.
What was Diana talking about? Why was James acting like this? I opened my mouth to speak, but felt something hold back my voice. It was as if a vice had been tightened over my vocal cords and denied them any chance to create any sound in my throat. James smirked and gripped Diana's chin, making her snarl louder.
Any work can be quick. It just takes time and patience, both of which I have in abundance.
Fucking monk.
James tightened his grip on her chin, digging his fingers into her jaw. Diana could only wince and glare at the one holding her. I felt fear run through my body as his lips curved even more into a devilish smirk. How could he look so evil?
Be patient, woman. You'll have your turn soon enough.
As James turned his gaze to me, I felt my body suddenly heat up. His eyes were glowing an almost sickly golden yellow as he stared into my soul and ignited my core with heat and desire.
What?
Well, I mean...
One look, and apparently I'm already full of heat and desire.
Well, one voice, like one little snippet of that voice, and I was like, yep, I remember why I picked him.
Maybe that's, like, his power, though. Maybe we're just forgetting it, and, like, can't he manipulate you to, like, want to fuck him?
I don't remember any of this. Like, I remember not being proposed to, and that's about it. I felt dizzy. Well, I don't know. I have no idea why we're even here.
Yeah.
I felt dizzy and weak, my mouth falling open to allow a silent sigh escape from my lips. What was happening? James released Diana and walked to the door of my cell, quickly manipulating the lock to open it. As the door opened, I felt myself crawl backwards towards the back of the cell, suddenly afraid of the demon who was approaching. At the same time, I felt uncanny and a natural elation for the man approaching me with a smirk that tore at my heart.
Well, time to dine.
Fuck!
Yeah! Okay!
Fucking touch her!
No, don't listen to Diana. Before I knew it, Diana pressed her body against the... Well, we could all share.
Right?
I'm
Look
not
at me, I'm
opposed.
into it.
Against the bars that divided our cells and grabbed James's shoulder, digging her nails into it.
Little.
Whoa. In retaliation, James swung his arm towards Diana and formed a familiar pistol in his hand. Within moments, he aimed and fired.
Damn.
Okay. I could only watch as Diana jumped back and held her chest, blood oozing from between her fingers onto the ground. She stared at James in both pain and surprise before crumpling to the floor and exhaling the last breath she would ever... Wow, they snuffed
I feel
her.
like this is like a dream or something.
Yeah, this is like too much.
This isn't real.
My mind was caught in a frenzy of emotions. While I felt shocked, terrified, and mortified at what happened, my mind continued to dance in the desirable waves that ran through my body. Why couldn't I control myself? Maybe James is capable of, like, sensing our innermost desires, and, like, this person, like, Sybil, she's, like, really into this kind of, like, cagey, you know, like,
Yeah.
this kind of thing. And he's like, I got you, girl. So, like, this is her dream. I'm
I
cool.
got you, girl.
Yeah. The pistol in James's hand disappeared
Girl.
as he let out a sneer of irritation.
Damn it.
James then looked at me, towering over me, as I both cowered in fear and melted against the back wall of my cell.
Those yellow eyes remind me of, like, him having, like, yellow fever or something.
I can't look at him. Like
It's so unappealing.
yeah.
Like, why?
Like, it's so strange. I don't know. Like,
He
why
looks
yellow?
like he has yellow fever, legitimately. I don't know.
What?
Yellow fever, it's like when it's like a mosquito.
Oh, I was thinking of, like, the really, you know, like, when, like, white guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I was like, what are you talking about?
No, it's a disease carried by mosquitoes that, like, turns you yellow due to whatever,
Like
like,
jaundice?
liver problems, I think. It's not jaundice, it's literally called yellow fever.
Okay.
It's a bit different from jaundice.
Looks like you'll have to give me twice the amount of energy from now on. What is the point of mosquitoes?
To torment us because they carry so many awful diseases. Like,
For real.
what disgusting bugs.
Like, how did they survive, like, everything? Like, any evolutionary process? Like, how did they come out of it, but, like, dinosaurs didn't?
True.
As James began to step towards me, I felt hot tears run down my cheeks while I panted like a dog in heat.
That's very attractive.
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, the eating, like, the groaning while she ate.
Oh.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell him not to hurt me. My voice began to press against the vice holding it, wanting to explode out. Is she, like, in a, like,
She's in a weird dream sequence, I think.
I feel like she's, like, in a Hannibal, like, little, like, mask and things. You know? Because it's like there's a vice covering her mouth for whatever reason, too.
This is very weird.
Yeah, James's shadow consumed... She's kinky, that's what it is. He knows. James's shadow consumed me and I let out a scream. Then I woke up!
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Such a cop-out.
Yeah, he didn't even let us finish the story. Like, you know, we were waiting, panting heavily. I shot up in bed, panting wildly as my heart pounded hard against my ribcage. I gripped my hand over my chest, feeling my pulse beating underneath the skin in a frantic rhythm in time with my hastened breath. I heard the faint echo of my scream bounce through the room as I let reality sink in. It was a dream and I was wide awake now. Everything was okay. Everything was...
What?
Sybil? My heart froze and I felt my body tense up at the sound of James's voice beside me. My heated cheeks reminded me of the tears I had shed in the dream and who had caused them. I shot my head to the side to see James, the man who I loved, but also the man who terrified me, looking at me with a face painted with concern and worry.
Is that music very loud, or is it just me?
To me, it's fine. But I don't really, like, okay. In the preferences, I don't see anything for the music specifically.
It's BGM. Background music.
Wow. Anyway.
Embarrassing.
Love, are you... Get away from me! I couldn't control myself as I quickly rolled out of breath. I was still thinking about it. Out of bed and pressed myself back against the far wall, staring at him in an absolute terror. James only had stared back at me, still shocked and now troubled. He didn't move, most likely not wanting to frighten me further. Images of the dream I had began to replay in my head. Don't you know that it's a dream now?
Right?
Like it was some weird nightmare. But that's also like when people wake up and they're mad at you because of whatever happened in their dream.
But that's so illogical.
Yeah. I know, but it, like, you know, it happens. But who would be, like, scared like that? Replacing the James in bed with the James that towered over me in that dark jail cell. My body shook violently from the memory, but soon my logic began to break the images apart, leaving me with the sight of James still in bed, staring at me. My thoughts slowly melted and I felt myself start to cry again. This time, my heart began to ache as I realized whom I had yelled at. I lurched forward and practically jumped at James, who opened his arms wide and wrapped me in them as I landed against his chest. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Shh. There's nothing to be sorry about. It was only a nightmare. I'm right here.
Is he, like, Irish?
No, I don't think so.
It was only a nightmare. I mean, I like it. Okay, see, like, Sybil and James is Irish. This is canon now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's Branson. Oh, okay. I'm excited.
I like him
Good.
a lot more now.
Mm-hmm. James held me close to him as I began to cry into his shoulder. I continued to apologize to him, whimpering and sobbing like a child as the fear from the nightmare slowly began to fade away. James's hands simply ran over my head and my hair, trying to calm me down. It felt so real, and yet I knew that I couldn't have been. James was right here, protecting me and comforting me, providing the love that he had for me. He would never hurt me. Man, ever. I need more water. Eventually, I was able to calm down, and I looked up at the man holding me as he gently smiled down at
Are
me.
you all right?
I nodded, earning a small squeeze of his arms around me. I naturally cuddled closer to his body, desiring more of his warmth. Do you want to be Sybil?
I get to be voice Sybil and your narration Sybil.
Because it's like, you know, the different mind.
Right, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
What time is it?
James gently hugged me tighter to his body as he looked over his nightstand at his phone, which was docked in a fancy speaker charger.
It's 3:40 a.m.
I was still thinking about, like, the Irish thing. We still had... What?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were going to comment or something.
No, I'm just laughing at you being silly.
It's 3:40 a.m. Super hot. We still had a few hours before our alarms were set to wake us. Crap, why did I have to have a nightmare and wake both of us up? Actually, I kind of love waking up before my alarm.
Right?
Yeah, because then you're like, okay, I have like... Because then you start getting like technical. You're like, okay, I have 3 hours and 34 minutes to sleep.
Right? I know. Then you have like stuff that you can do prior to that.
Right?
You know?
You can think like you had more time when it was just like you just woke up because you can't
Yeah,
sleep well.
you just didn't sleep at all.
Yeah. I gripped James's shoulders and looked up at him apologetically.
I'm sorry. I know you need your sleep.
Please don't worry about it. My beautiful fiancé is much more important to me than sleep.
This is like your playthrough, I guess. As we said fiancé, I couldn't help but feel my face heat up, letting a blush run along my cheeks. It was true. I was his fiancé. He had asked me to marry him a couple of months ago, and I had accepted his proposal, wanting to be his wife. Just thinking about the idea of being with him forever made the imaginary butterflies in my stomach dance around happily and flutter their wings against my heart. It was a dream come true. His love and warmth assured me that my nightmare was just that. He was my wonderful husband-to-be, and I was going to be his wife. My body couldn't help but shiver in happiness. James caught the shiver and gently ran his hands up and down my arms.
Are you feeling cold?
No, you just make me happy. That's all.
As I leaned up and kissed James's cheek, he smiled and kissed mine in return. His warm lips sent another euphoric shiver down my spine, and I felt joy run through my veins. I truly loved James. It wasn't long, however, before I felt something gently brush up against my hip. I think it's something nasty. I looked at James cleared his boot. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, raising an eyebrow as well as growing a blush on my face, I looked up at my fiancé as he looked away from me, his face almost as red as tomato. No, I'm happy. You know what? We can fix
I
this.
can't exactly control my excitement.
Don't worry about it. Kiss him passionately. Like, no, it's fine. Just sleep it off.
Yeah, kiss the passionately.
James didn't have to use his powers to light a fire in me. Okay. I gently tilted my head back and kissed him, capturing his lips with mine lovingly. I felt my body slowly heat up, softly and tenderly, to make sure not to scare me. His enthrallment over me became a natural part of our lovemaking. It not only helped him gain energy, but it made the pleasure of our sex practically 10 times more powerful. As I moaned against his lips, James gently ran his hands down my back and over my rear.
My rear.
My rear?
Like,
yeah, I was about to say that, like, my rear! that's so old! Making me slightly jump in surprise at the feel. As he that's kind of like, when, like, writers stop getting a word for, like, they don't want to say, like, cock all the time, so they're like, what else? What else can I say, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, like, the synonyms.
love sword. Like, it's ridiculous.
As he gripped it, I let out another hot moan, and James smiled and chuckled quietly against my lips. I stared at the ceiling, lusting for James, as he pulled away from the kiss and began to kiss over my neck. I absolutely needed this man, and I needed him now. My body pressed against
Do you
his...
really want to read this? Let's just get past it.
Yeah, gripping onto my ass. Okay, I'll leave it, like, for a second so people can, like, stop and read if they want to. Yeah.
We both knew that he was always in control. Like, okay.
This is not your playthrough, then. Oh, okay, I'm at the civil part.
Okay, what the hell? This is so much. What are you waiting for? Take me.
As you wish.
As you wish.
God, I hated that movie so much. The Princess Bride. It was so awful. I didn't even know that Robin Wright was, like, the princess.
Yeah, she was. I never even saw the movie, to be honest.
It was bad. I had to watch it for, like, my high school film class.
Really? I heard it was really amazing.
Yeah, I always did too. And then I watched it and I was like, what is going on? You know, like...
Yeah, I trust you because we have the same taste in, like, everything.
It was so bad. I didn't understand why people liked it.
I mean, maybe just, like, complaining about things.
Yeah, but I like what I like, and we have similar tastes.
Yeah.
So just trust me when I say it wasn't that great.
Okay.
Building toward... Okay. We get it. I mean, it's not like, you know, whatever, but we're just gonna skip past that.
Yeah, I don't get anything from these sort of sex scenes, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean...
Like, what am I supposed to get from this? Like, they had sex. Cool.
It's supposed to be romantic.
Right. Right.
Oddly, I felt well rested and ready for the day ahead. Oh, oddly, okay. As I looked at James, who was still holding me, he opened his eyes slowly and smiled down at me.
Good morning. Did you sleep better?
I nodded, causing him to chuckle and kiss my forehead. My own lips curled into a smile as his lips touched my skin. I hugged him tighter, burying my head in his chest.
Do we have to get up?
Unfortunately, we do. You have to organize more wedding arrangements, and I have to go to work.
Why do people make such a big deal about, like, wedding stuff?
Right, just go to, like, the town hall.
Yeah, really. Just, like, do that. I don't understand. Like, okay, I kind of get where the cake is coming from because, you know? So basically, I would just do, like, town hall, cake, and then just, like, use your money on, like, the house or traveling or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, like, you should have a really awesome honeymoon. Because I know people who spend, like, $100,000 on their weddings. And, like, you could spend that money on a honeymoon or, like, a house or something that actually matters. Like...
Yeah, and then it's, like, basically you invite people just to talk to, like, about you and how shitty the wedding was.
Yeah, I hate those big social events. Like, I don't get anything from that. I want maybe, like, if I ever do get married, I want, like, a nice dress, and then I want to go to the town hall and get married with, like, 2 other people. And then...
Yeah, witnesses.
Yeah, like, witnesses. And then just, like, go on a honeymoon. Like, go on, like, a year-round trip. Like, because if you can afford to spend $100,000 on a wedding, you can afford a nice trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't even do the dress. I'd just be like, whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I want to look, like, presentable.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, come in with, like, a Cinderella gown.
I just want, like, I don't know. I'm not big on weddings or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just don't like people, so I think that's an issue, too.
Yeah, okay, realistically, 100 of your closest friends, like, what does that mean?
I have, like, 2 friends.
Yeah, like, I couldn't even find 100 people.
Like, how do you have so many connections?
Yeah. Because then it ends up being, like, your grandma's, like, neighbor's dog, and then you have to invite them.
Right? And then people get pissed if you don't. Oh, it's such a mess.
Mm-hmm. And then it's, like, the seating and whatever else. That sounds awful. Just get the giant cake and go travel.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to?
Yes, I do. Now come on, let's go.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't help but whine. I wanted to stay with James in bed just a little longer. However, since he was the CEO of the Anderson Toys Company, oh, right!
Yeah.
Oh, he's like perfect. He's like Money and Incubus. We landed a good one.
True.
He had many obligations to attend to. Not even his future wife could pull him away from those duties. As James sat up, he took me into his arms and kissed me lovingly, making a smile grow back onto my cheeks, so I couldn't be annoyed for long whenever he kissed me. We went downstairs and had breakfast together before James went to work. It was always depressing whenever he left me alone in the house. However, he was a CEO and I was currently in school getting a degree. What? I mean, I don't know. Luckily for me, all my courses were online, so I didn't have to leave the house to get a degree that I wanted. Attending classes in pajamas was always easier than having to put on regular clothes.
True.
Well, when you go to college, people wear pajamas anyway. So it's just like, do you want to, like, where do you just want to do it?
True.
I stretched and yawned, still slightly tired from waking up in the middle of the night. As I thought about that moment, I couldn't stop images of my nightmare flashing through my mind. Quickly, I shook my head.
Nope. It was a stupid dream. No.
Before that night, I had a wonderful dream about James and I preparing the wedding and eventually seeing each other at the church. He hadn't seen my dress despite trying to, so he'd be stunned and I would be blushing and smiling from ear to ear. Like, if you have this kind of house, I kind of get, like, the whole really expensive wedding, whatever.
Because
it's like,
you can afford it.
yeah, like, I can burn it, whatever. But then it's like, we saved all our lives for this one moment.
For real, like, if it's just one day, it's better to, like, invest in some better memories that will actually keep. You know what I mean?
That one nightmare, however, worried me. What if it was an omen, a sign?
Really?
It's gonna be.
It is, but, like, why do people care about dream interpretation?
I do. I love dream interpretations. I mean,
really?
like, yeah, I'm not like, like this is gonna come true, but I love, like, the whole, like, for one, it's like, oh, if you dream about a wedding, somebody in the family's gonna die. Like, I don't know. I just, like, I love
That's
hearing.
awful.
No, that's, like, one example, but I really love hearing about, like, dream interpretations and all that. Like,
I mean,
you don't.
like, it's cool in,
Yeah.
like, theory, but I don't think you should put any weight to it.
No, you don't, but it's just, like, fun
But,
to
like,
hear.
when this person, like, is like, oh, what if it's an omen? Like,
Yeah,
you're
it's
stupid.
like
chill.
just go back to planning the wedding. I wrapped my arms around myself, feeling a cold wave of nerves rush against my skin. My first instinct was to call Naomi or Suzu just to
I remember those. Ugh. They were the worst, weren't they?
I remember the names, but I don't remember, like,
They had really
them.
annoying voices. And I think they were possibly love interest.
Really? Okay.
Maybe not.
I trust that they were annoying, I guess.
They were totally annoying.
Ugh. I hope the voice actors meant to do that, but
Yeah.
yeah, okay. To vent about it and get it out of my system. But if there was something supernatural at work, they wouldn't understand. Ring, ring. I closed my eyes and made a decision. I took my phone out of my pocket and dialed the number onto my phone without looking at it before bringing it up to my ear. How would you do that?
I don't know.
The other line rang a couple of times. See, ring, ring, before I heard a voice answer at last.
Hello?
Crap, I didn't know Sam was still sleeping.
Sam? Is Carrie awake?
Dude, why are you calling?
Sam, you dork. Give me the phone. I know it's her.
Doofus, calm down.
Mine. Haha. Hello?
I smiled. Carrie was Sam's wife. Yup, I said it, wife. I don't remember Carrie.
I don't know either. Sam was one of the guys, right?
Yeah, he was like the green one.
Yeah. Very nondescript.
Yeah, okay. They had been married for almost a year, and despite sounding like they were always bickering half the time, they truly loved it. Half a year, or almost a year. Like, I don't remember Carrie.
I
at
don't think
all.
she was a character.
Okay, so it's just like he got married.
Yeah.
But it's been... How did he meet a girl and marry before us? Before, like, we've known...
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. They truly loved each other. Sam had met her while investigating a haunted house. She had been there as an architectural consultant, and they clicked as soon as they both left. See, that's why we didn't choose
Maybe
Sam.
she was in it. Hold on, I'll look it up real quick.
Okay.
I don't remember.
That's why we didn't choose Sam, because we knew. We felt like he was going to get the right girl for him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's in there.
Okay. So, alright, I'm just gonna assume Carrie's whatever. Doesn't matter. But, like, why would you say, like, Carrie, like, as if we knew them?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, this is all very, like, new. What was even more surprising about their relationship, however, was that Carrie knew what he was before he even confessed it. How would you know? Like, how would you make the guess? It wasn't...
Apparently she was a witch.
I assume that it was, like, the whole, like, Twilight story. It's like, I've been 17. How long have you been 17? You know?
Yeah.
Apparently, oh yeah, okay, which, a person who had been granted permission to know about magic and otherworldly creatures by the angels and was gifted with both demon and holy magic. I kind of like the whole, like, how long were you 17? Like, I think that
Or like,
was...
or like, guess what I am? Or like,
Yeah.
what am I? And she's like, vampire.
Yeah.
And it's like the best. It's the only good part of Twilight.
Yeah, right? That was my favorite. Even in the movies, that was, like, the best part.
Yeah.
I only got to know about otherworldly creatures because I was in a relationship with one and was marrying him.
Hey, Carrie, are you free right now?
Huh? Well, I kinda just got out of bed, but let me check my schedule, okay? Give me a sec.
She seems like too,
Nice.
yeah. I heard Carrie...
Not my type of person.
What?
Not my type of person.
Right? Yeah, we like meeting people. I heard
You're not
Carrie...
suitably goth enough. We're not friends.
And then we have to talk about, like, goth stereotypes now. 20 minutes, full on. I heard Carrie climb over Sam at one point, making him swear at her before he groaned in defeat at the situation. After a couple of book flips from the other line, Carrie finally cheered.
I don't have anything scheduled for work today, so I'm all free. What do you need? Wedding advice?
No.
How do you...
Not that. Mind coming over? I kind of want to ask you something.
Sure thing. Sam's got work today. It'll just be me. I'll even bring some pizza and stuff so we can have a fun girls' lunch. What do you say?
Yes.
Who actually, like, I don't know anybody who totally plans things out and, like, we can have a fun girls' lunch. I'll even bring pizza. Like,
Yeah, it's like just kind of, it happens when it happens.
yeah, it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, do you want to do something? And they're like, I don't know, what do you want to do? Like, I've never had, like, a scenario when they just, like, come up with something. A fun girls' lunch?
A fun girls' lunch. We're gonna have so much. It's gonna be like Sex in the City.
Right? Sounds great. See you soon.
The phone call ended and I let out a sigh. This would be good for me. Carrie might be able to help clear things up. I decided to clean as I waited. The mansion was huge after all and never stopped collecting dust. Soon enough, however, Carrie came by with 2 pizza boxes in one hand and a large bottle of pop in the other. I couldn't help but feel my stomach gurgle at the delicious smell.
Pop.
Pop. They're from
I call it soda.
Wisconsin. Yeah, I call it soda too.
Mhm.
What else could you call it? Like pop, whatever, Coke, I guess.
I think it's either pop or soda or something.
There's like something else. I don't know. She brought deep dish pizza. Yum. I don't
She's
really.
cute.
Yeah. I hope they're good. They sound like they're cute for each other, so that's good.
Mhm.
We settled into my room and made my bed into our picnic area. We laid out a blanket so we didn't get crumbs on the bed itself, but we liked our makeshift eating spot. I never eat in bed.
What's going on? Are you having premarital trouble?
I don't know. Sometimes I do.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the idea of just, like, eventually sitting on a crumb. Like, you know? Because it's like, Afterwards, you always have to clean up. Like, even though you know that you didn't drop anything, there's always something.
I know what you mean. The horror of sitting on a crumb, though.
Yeah. It's like,
You're like the princess in the pea.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I felt it.
No, it's not about our marriage. Well,
Carrie tilted her head at me, wondering what was the matter. I began to doubt myself. Should I tell her about the nightmare? Maybe it was really just a bad dream and I was overthinking it. I closed my eyes, thinking about what to say. Eventually, I finally spoke up. I had a nightmare last night.
yeah, okay.
A nightmare. Was it really bad?
Why would you say, like, I'm second-guessing my degree? Like, those are very different,
Yeah,
you know?
that doesn't make any sense.
I know. And if you're not second-guessing your degree, you're not doing it right, okay? You always have to question yourself.
True.
Cry, always. That's how you know it's working. I nodded, remembering how horrified I was in the nightmare and visibly shivering at the memory. Carrie frowned and poured me a glass of pop.
Maybe I should have brought alcohol.
Probably.
Oh, no, it wasn't that terrible. I swear.
I rubbed the back of my neck. I had to relax. It was a nightmare, nothing real. I should have been able to talk about it. I sighed and looked up at Carrie.
It was about James. He...
Was holding me. Like, we gotta be honest. She's our new best friend. Carrie stared at me, wide-eyed at me, unsure of what to say. I continued.
He looked cold and evil. Diana was there too.
How do you know Diana? Like,
Diana? The succubus that tried to take the boys away?
okay, so...
Yeah, she was in the cell next to me, but for some reason, it seemed like she was trying to protect me.
Protect
Okay,
you?
Diana's not a bad...
How?
Like, I don't know, in my playthrough, I made out with her, so I don't know.
Because she's really awful in the other playthroughs.
Yeah,
Except
but she's
hers.
not really. Like, at her core, she's good.
Okay.
I love her.
My mind instantly replayed the nightmare, flashing to when Diana gripped James's shoulder and tried to pull him away from me. I couldn't help my body from wincing at the memory of her being shot by his gun.
He came into my cell. He enthralled me, and Diana shouted at him to leave me alone. Then he...
Carrie reached over and placed her hand on my shoulder, making me lower my head. It was strange to think about it, Diana protecting me. Yet, I could feel the anger in her voice when James tried to approach me. She truly sounded like she wanted to protect me.
He shot her with his demon gun. And when she died, he came after me.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
That lamp is too low, like in the background.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It may have not been real, but my body couldn't help but quake in fear when recalling the nightmare. I shook my head and looked at Carrie, needing to know what was going on.
Do you think this is an omen? The nightmare can't be just a dream.
Carrie ran her hands through her hair and stared at the blanket beneath us. She bit her lower lip as she contemplated, which made me
You
worried.
said a jail cell?
Yeah, it was in a stone dungeon.
Like in a medieval castle?
Yeah, it was all this whole, like, I had this whole kink scene worked out.
Browsers.com. Yeah.
Carrie shook her head at me, again, and ran her hands through her hair once more before looking up at me.
I don't know if this is connected with that dream, but I've heard rumors about the abyssal plains being in utter chaos.
What? What do you mean?
I don't know what's happening exactly, but for the past 2 years, the demon world has been emitting some really bad energy. Even the angels are taking note of what's happening. They're even neglecting their duties to go to the demon world themselves.
That threw me off. According to Carrie, angels were extremely devoted to watching over the human world. They would never skimp duties to even think about the demon world. Carrie shook her head.
The only place I could imagine jail cells like that being used for prisoners is in the abyssal plains. But you and James are here in the human world, so it makes no sense.
Carrie abruptly moved from the bed and reached for her purse, digging through it and practically sticking an entire arm into it. I swore she was like Mary Poppins the day I saw her do that for the first time. That sounds like the coolest thing that you could ever do as a witch.
True.
Like, when Hermione did it, and when, like, Halloween Town did it.
Just like a huge bag.
No, okay, like
a small bag, but it's huge on the inside.
Yeah, that would be good. I would love, like, a small, like, clutch or whatever, and then just, like, fit, like, you could fit your arm, you could fit, like, your mobile, like, house, you know, just bring everything. Love it. Okay. Apparently, it was a demon-branded bag called the Endless Satchel. Okay, I'll put it on my Amazon. Only found in the demon black market of the human world. It wasn't just a bag on the inside. It was a void. You could stuff anything in there and be able to pull it back out with ease as long as you pictured it in your mind. Carrie pulled out something wrapped in dark green silk. As she unfolded the cloth, she revealed a deck of cards. On the back of each card was a black pentagram with a small, almost unreadable markings underneath. On the faces, however, were different hand-painted images that helped me recognize it was a tarot card. They were worn, and they still emitted a power that made a shiver run down my spine.
It's been a while since I've used this, but it might be able to shed some light on the situation.
I watched as Carrie held the deck against her chest and closed her eyes, muttering to herself. Then she lifted the deck to her lips and kissed over the top card before shuffling it. The cards practically danced and glided between her fingers as if they were alive when she shuffled them in her hands. Eventually, she stopped and the deck settled together in her grip. She gently drew 3 cards from the top of the deck, settling them face down in front of her, and placed the remainder of the deck in the nightstand. I hope we get to pick one. Never mind. She flipped one over, revealing a wheel with multiple symbols on it. As I stared at the card, the wheel seemed to spin on the face of the card, making me slightly dizzy. Carrie mumbled to herself as she examined the card.
The Wheel of Fortune. Could this be about the demon world changing? No, it can't just be that. Someone changed something in the past and disturbed the fate of the abyssal planes.
I looked to the card, taking note of what Carrie said aloud. There were many things that I knew that had personally changed. It wasn't destined to get the Anderson Toys Company. I met the boys and learned about magic, and I was going through a big change in my life with my upcoming marriage. Carrie moved her hand and flipped over the other card, revealing a figure with a sword in one hand and a scale in the other. Staring at the card, I swore I heard angry whispers in the air around me.
Justice? What could this be about? Could the change in the past be something so big that it demands justice's attention?
This is very general.
Mm-hmm.
My mind began to replay every choice I made in my life and fast forward. My decision to let the boys stay, to defend the boys against Malix, to stand up to Diana, everything rolled past my thoughts. Was one of those decisions one I shouldn't have made? I didn't get... Ooh.
That's my dog.
I thought, like, the Latin demon came back. I didn't get to think on it long as Carrie flipped over the third card. As it was revealed, both Carrie and I gasped.
The King of Swords? But that card is not supposed to look like that.
A king figure sat on the throne with a large sword in his hand, as if he was ready to attack the viewer. However, the card looked like a black and gold demon I had recognized. James?
James?
Oh! Too excited. The picture, despite being simple, was powerful enough to make a shudder run through my body at the sight.
Wow. I mean, is the Demon King James? Find out next time.
That sounds like the Saturday morning thing, so it's like, find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Find out next time on...
Seduce Me Too. Oh, so okay. Yeah,
Me
start.
Too. That's right.
Okay, bye.